Hello, Rough Rider Nation, and welcome to the Rider Report, the ins and outs of Yavapai College athletics. I'm Brad Clifford, the athletic director here at Yavapai College, and joining me today is Ryan Cougill, our head baseball coach. Ryan, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. It's exciting to talk about some baseball.
We're getting to that time, right?
Yes, sir.
Getting to that time. An exciting time in the spring. Ryan is on the brink of his fifth season, and he has an impressive record of 162 wins and 77 losses. More impressive is going to be the awards that we've won. We've won the NJCAA region title twice these last 2 years, 2015-16, won the district title in 2015-16, and of course, we won the national championship in 2016. So the other thing that we want to talk about is you've been the NJCAA West District Coach of the Year twice. You won the NJCAA National Coach of the Year last year. And you just got back from accepting a Coach of the Year award from the ABC Hall of Fame banquet. And not to mention that our team is ranked preseason number 1 going into 2017. So it's you've been a great asset to the program, and you've brought credibility to Yavapai College, especially the baseball program, which we enjoy a long history of success there. So let's talk a little bit about what happened here these last couple of years. It must have been quite a thrill going to the World Series. Of course, you went in 2015, 2016, but there had to be a little bit of difference in feeling-wise from 2015 to 16 going in.
Yeah, winning your last game instead of losing your last game for sure.
For sure.
But, yeah, I get the question a lot, actually. It's a question we ask ourselves with coaching staff,
Sure.
Sometimes jokingly. Hey, how do you reinvent that formula?
Right.
And, of course, there isn't a specific answer. 2015 team was unbelievable.
Sure.
And I think they set a ton of school records offensively. Bragging rights galore with that team and those players. But once they got to Grand Junction, we'd laugh, and we got Grand Junctioned. I mean,
Right.
that's kind of the joke among coaches when it's the first time you go. And a lot of that's my fault. We just have never gone. And it's that term, you don't know what you don't know. And our players wanted to win, and they wanted to do what they'd been doing. They were so hot. But we, I think in 15, we just became a different team. And we got outside of our philosophies. And one of our big philosophies that we preach is you don't go out and win games. And people look at me kind of like, what? And we don't go out and win games. You just go out and let the other team lose. So it takes a process of just going out and playing pitch to pitch. And in 15, we just got away from that. And we tried to go out and win every single game with one pitch and win every single game with one hit and one play. And when that happens, holy smokes, the game becomes really hard. So in 16, that was the big difference. We stuck to that approach. Our players did an unbelievable job with that approach. And there's reasons for that, I believe. And I don't know if I want to repeat them all as a formula because it had to do with a lot of adversity.
Sure.
And a lot of teamsmanship that developed through that adversity and playing for one another, which those players were unbelievable. And I remember like yesterday, Nate Easley sitting in the office and developing a relationship to where he was going to be a leadership role, and really saw that develop through not only Nate but a lot of our sophomores to where they were going to play for one another. And
And if you haven't been to the Grand Junction, and I'm talking about the fans as well, it is a daunting experience stepping into that stadium. And as a player, obviously, because there's a big crowd, the town gets behind you. So that first year, if you haven't been there, you haven't been there, and you don't know. So that was quite a feeling going in 2015.
There's a lot of things behind the scenes with host families, and they're doing a lot of stuff off the field, which is great stuff. Don't get me wrong, but the first time through it, you can really get sidetracked, and you can focus more on the celebration of being there instead of the process of continuing the season. We're still playing baseball.
Right.
That was a big difference, and something I certainly took away as a coach, and I learned, and hopefully it helped our players. And although you've got two different teams in 15 and 16, right, you do have some returners, and you have some coaching staff that went back and can give a little insight into, hey, this is what you might be feeling like, and these goosebumps are definitely going to be there.
Experience, you can't negate the experience factor. 2016, you win it. We stayed for the whole week, 10 days. That was quite a thrill. The last out, when Dylan caught it there in short right field, that's quite a thrill.
21 days on the road. We don't know whether to pack for a district tournament we're a national tournament because we hadn't qualified for the national tournament yet, but we can't jinx ourselves and only pack for district because we weren't going to come home. And throughout that whole process, it's kind of interesting because Dylan, who had some ups and downs throughout the year as well and some adversity on the baseball field, ended up flourishing. And this isn't a knock to any other player, but I think every 26 player and 3 coaches would agree if there was a ball in the air to go get caught, Dylan was the guy to go get it.
Indeed.
And I don't think people realize how hard of a play it is. Under the lights, going straight backwards, Christian Maggi in right field running in to take him out almost, and Christian just kept running on by straight to a dog pile.
No, that was a heck of a catch.
Yeah.
It really was. And he had, you talk about Dylan a little bit. I mean, he hits the game-winning grand slam to win the district, and then really had a nice tournament up at Grand Junction.
Special person. He's sitting here with a 3.8 GPA.
Mm-hmm.
Special person, special player, unbelievable family. Came from a great program at Hamilton with Coach Woods, and we're the benefactors of it right now. And somebody else, the school he goes to, will be a benefactor as well because the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah.
He's going to keep getting better.
Someone's getting a steal there. All right, so fun fact, I guess, going back to the national tournament, you win it on that day. Your dad's in the Illinois State Championship baseball. He's a baseball coach back there. They win it the same day. Now, how special is that?
Yeah, it's great talking about this because it seems so long ago.
Right.
Because you spent through the summer recruiting, and now we get into fall ball, and our goal as a staff is to erase last season in our players' minds. Get them started on what they need to do this year. But it's fun talking about it and reliving it from a standpoint of, first of all, he contacted me and said this was going to be my last year before the season started.
Wow.
And not many people knew that. So I instantly became, even though it's my alum and I went to school there and played for him, instantly a huge fan and followed him.
Sure.
The whole year.
Right.
Knew his roster, knew his stats, and followed him as close as we followed, some of our Division I opponents' scouting reports.
Sure.
And I think being able to watch his game literally a minute before we left to go take BP in the World Series game was nerve-wracking, and as nerve-wracking as being in a national championship game. And they had a lead when we left for BP. I didn't get a score update. I didn't want that kind of pressure.
Right.
But as soon as Dylan caught the final out, Jen, my wife, came up to me and said, she didn't say congratulations. She said your dad won. So it was a lot of fun for our family.
That's a sweet experience. Not to mention that the same weekend, the Golbies had championships.
Yeah, Coop and Bucket, and it was stars aligned throughout that end of that season. Not only on the field, but with some of the family stuff going on, and I know Scott had to be in tears, and
Sure.
I got to video chat with Cooper after the game.
Right,
it was
right.
a lot of fun, and I mean these aren't easy things to do.
Right.
Some of those things will never happen again in people's lives. So all these memories are unbelievable.
Unbelievable. They really did align. We got a great schedule. We won the games we had to win. You guys did a great job with the pitching staff. Speaking of pitching staff, we got 7 pitchers that pitched in the national tournament.
Yeah.
Tell us about your staff.
Yeah, Jerry. Not my staff, it's Jerry's staff. I mean, he's a head coach of pitchers, and for good reason. And those 6 guys return. Reza and Jake returned from 2015.
Right.
Unfortunately, had a medical redshirt last year, so would have been a lot of fun to have those 2 guys on last year's team too.
Made it a little easier, right?
But we're glad to have them this year. And then the 4 guys back from last year, Petey, Gross, and Dirk, and Avery. The world slows down a little for them, being able to pitch in that environment. And I think the challenge is now handling the success, but the uncomfortable is more comfortable for those 6. So they've been great leaders this fall. But there's no cell phone minutes in baseball. They don't roll over. Those pitches last year don't roll over. So I think they know that, and they're focused on what they need to do this year. But it's exciting to have that group because I love them to death.
How won it in 2000 in June? How did recruiting become easier? Is it? I mean, it's still a grind. Don't get me wrong, but did it become a little bit easier?
Well, Jerry and Kyle do 90% of our recruiting, so I'll speak for them. Easier and no change, and it's 2 answers. I think probably because you put a ring on a finger and instantly there's credibility with the family. Some of the exposure we've had in the state of Arizona helps with a lot of in-state recruiting. And there's no coincidence. I think 9 of our 10 recruits right now are from Arizona.
Right.
Helps with coaches, helps with families, but not necessarily easier in a sense. You still have to build relationships, and that's what our recruiting base is all about. So Jerry and Kyle do an unbelievable job with that, but it helps to throw that thing up there and do things like this that get to expose some of that success.
So you're coming in this weekend. You'll be on I think Friday, you said, and or today. Today's Friday.
Today.
So they'll be in today. You're going to have about 10 days, 10, 12 days before you open up. You guys going to be ready? Is it how important it is to be ready right away?
Yeah, I should stop talking and probably get the guys to practice. But
right.
It is what it is. And in the area we live in, it's the most beautiful place to be for about 11 months out of the year. And unfortunately, that 1 month sometimes can be 2 weeks before the start of your season.
Right.
So weather dependent. But it is what it is. And, it's a simple game from a standpoint of mentality. And we'll try to keep it as simple as possible opening weekend. I do like our schedule from a standpoint of we go up and we get tested right away.
Right.
Against CSN and the teams that are there. But we've got a week off after that. So, whether we take lumps or not, last year we took some lumps early. Sometimes taking lumps early can be good for a club.
Mm-hmm.
And the ears grow and the want to grows. And sometimes going 8-0 to start the season isn't always the best thing. I'll take 8-0, but, I think with this club, because we are new, and a lot of the guys have not played a spring game yet. We'll just have to take the lumps as they come and make adjustments, and that's okay. That's the philosophy of our program.
You lost a good chunk of your offense last year. You had some really good offense, and obviously you got to replace that. Tell us a little bit about your offense coming in.
Yeah, people joke, and in 2015 they said, "Man, you lost 9 hitters that all hit whatever, and you hit 110 home runs.
All kinds of records.
What are you going to do? How are you going to score runs? Oh, well, we're going to bunt, and we're going to run a lot, and we end up hitting 90 more home runs and like a 350 batting average. So, I think the success of our offense is built around the philosophies of our offense, and that is going out and trying to just do your job and pass the baton, and that doesn't change player to player. We've got some very talented offensive guys, but unfortunately in our league, because it's wood bad and it can be cold early, pitching's always better than hitting early on. So my focus is more, I think our focus as a staff is more how we're going to play defense and pitch if the bats aren't, absolutely rocking everywhere. And I say that, and we'll go out and make 10 errors and hit 10 home runs the first game. I mean, that's baseball.
Great coaching, right?
Yeah, unpredictable. But, a lot of talent, a lot of physicality, and I think the best thing I like about our offense is we're really dynamic, can run, can hit for power. So it'll be an exciting club to watch for sure.
Good. So you got an early target on your bat. You got the #1 ranking. Good or bad,
blessing
you got
and a curse. Yeah, blessing and a curse. Great for recruiting.
Right.
And that's about all it's great for.
Sure.
It can be a curse to our guys, but our guys have to really understand, and that's our focus to begin the year is target on your back. And whether it's #1 ranking or not, you're still national champions until your last game, until somebody else is. So everyone will know that. And I'd rather have that problem than another problem.
Right.
But handling success is sometimes just as hard as handling failure. So we'll have to challenge ourselves to be able to go out and just like the Cubs did and handle the target on the back.
It's kind of cool to say that the championship now goes through Prescott, Arizona, and Yavapai College. That's kind of a neat thing to say.
Yeah, community members came out of the woodwork, and I've spoken to a lot of people, a lot of alum. I was at a coaches convention this past weekend and saw alum there, and the excitement that they have is just like they were in cleats and dogpiling themselves. Right. And that's what I love about Yavapai, the alumni base and the tradition. It's pretty exciting, no matter what sport it is. Right. But the community just, I think there was a lot of pride in that, and not easy to do, and they were proud.
They're very proud. It was and you had a great backing with the community. All right, we got a tough conference baseball-wise. I mean, just a tough Division I conference, Division II conference as well. Mm-hmm. You got Cochise, you got South Mountain, you got Central, all have been to the national tournament, and of course we win it this last year. What do you foresee here this year?
Well,
I know it's hard to gauge because it's such a turnaround.
While we were playing in the postseason, there were some teams recruiting, and some teams getting a head start from that standpoint. And I remember back in 2015, we had to go to Eastern came here, and we had to play well against them, get a certain seed. And at that time, Eastern was struggling. I think they were in the bottom of the conference. And lo and behold, they bring out a lefty throwing 88, 90. And it's like, are you kidding me?
Where were you?
Coach Heath going to the district, going to the World Series 2 years before us. I mean, the parity in our conference is unreal. And at the same token, it's a blessing because you're as prepared as you can be for if you can make a playoff run.
Right.
So our goal, just try to peak at the right time. You cannot run through this conference and separate yourself. It's too good of a conference. But you can certainly compete with the team we have and prepare ourselves for the great competition we have.
And that doesn't even we didn't even talk about the D2s. I mean, Gateway goes last year and finishes second. Mesa won it 2 years ago, won the national D2 national championship. So it is a strong baseball conference.
Scottsdale was there the year before Gateway, and there isn't a team in our conference we look at on the schedule and go, okay, there's 2 wins in a doubleheader. There's not. And especially in our game, at our level with the doubleheaders, it makes it even that much more challenging because I think anybody can beat anyone when it's spread across 16 innings.
Any given night.
Yeah.
So you open up here. We're on the road. Open up on the 27th in Henderson against Eastern Utah, and then Southern Nevada, which is a stronghold in the nation as far as baseball goes. And then your first home series will be the 6th, 7th, and 8th against Salt Lake Community College. So you do have about a week there in between those games, but a good time to get the kids ready and get them prepared for what is going to be an early conference season as well.
Yeah, I enjoy going up to Henderson because you're tested right off the bat. You usually, knock on wood, guaranteed your games because they do such a great job with their fields. And coming back home against Salt Lake, look forward to that as well because it's another good club and a well-coached club. And all these teams that we'll see early, although they're not in our conference, potentially could see them in a postseason. So I like that aspect of it as well. But, whatever it is, whatever team it is, we'll just focus on going out and from the first weekend in Henderson, be better the second weekend in Henderson. And that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. Well, come out to Rough Rider Park at Yavapai College again on 6th, 7th, and 8th is the first home games at Yavapai College, and support the Rough Riders as they look to defend the region, district, and national championship in 2017. This concludes this edition of the Rider Report. Coach, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Good luck this season. Be sure to follow us on www.roughriders.com. Follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. We're also going to be streaming the games this season, so look for the information on there. And as always, go Rough Riders.